তোমার শুধু এক গ্রুপ সুন্দর করে মানে লিস্টটা পাঠাইছে, আর সব উল্টা পাল্টা গ্রুপ। ইটা খুব ভালোভাবে পাঠাইছে, গ্রুপ ই। সাদিয়া শুনতে পাচ্ছ? হ্যাঁ, ওরা দিছে। আর সবচেয়ে খারাপ দিছে কোন গ্রুপ? এটা এফ গ্রুপ এন্ড আরেকটা কোন গ্রুপ?
খারাপ বলতে মানে স্যার
মানে ফরম্যাটটা তুমি তো নিজেই দেখলে বুঝতে পারবা। এগুলোতে এইভাবে ফরম্যাট দিয়ে এগুলাকে কপি এন্ড পেস্ট করে আনতে দেখা যায় যে আরেক ঝামেলা।
জি স্যার।
এইচ গ্রুপ সবচেয়ে হরিবল মনে হয়েছে আমার কাছে। সাদমান কি আসছো? সাইদ কি ওই যে দুইজন মিলিটারি অফিসারকে জানাইতে পারছিলা? সাইদ
স্যার জানাই দিছিলাম স্যার, তাদেরকে আপনার মেইলটা ফরওয়ার্ড করে দিছি, প্লাস ভার্বালি জানিয়েছিলাম।
হ্যাঁ, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। তুমি কি জয়েন করছো? তোমাকে আমি মেইল দিয়ে রাখছিলাম তো কালকে। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। আমরা গ্রুপ এ, গ্রুপ এ কারা? গ্রুপ এ।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
তোমরা প্রিপেয়ার থাকো, তারপর আমরা হয়তো মানে উল্টা পাল্টা ভাবেও ডাকতে পারি, নট ইন দা অর্ডার। তোমার গ্রুপে কয়জন? 7 জন। নামগুলা বলো তো।
স্যার আব্দুল্লাহ আল নওশাদ।
না, সবাই নাম বলো। তুমি তো গ্রুপের একজন রেসপন্সিবল। আব্দুল্লাহ আল নওশাদ 6 তোমার।
জি স্যার।
স্যার এস এম শাবিয়ার হোসেন 02 স্যার।
তারপরে
স্যার মোহাম্মদ ইব্রাহিম খলিল, রোল 19।
স্যার আমি বাকিদের নাম বলতেছি। ফার্স্টে হচ্ছে সাবিয়ার হোসেন, রোল নাম্বার 2 শাহনাজ ইসলাম, রোল নাম্বার 04 শারুফা ইসলাম, রোল নাম্বার 07 ইসমাত ফারজানা, রোল নাম্বার 12 নওশিন তাসনিম, নিশাত তাসনিম নওশিন, রোল নাম্বার 18 আব্দুল্লাহ আল নওশাদ, রোল নাম্বার 20 এমডি ইব্রাহিম খলিল, রোল নাম্বার 19।
এরা এই অর্ডারে প্রেজেন্টেশন চলবে, তাই তো?
জি স্যার।
ঠিক আছে। সাদমান কি আসছো? আমাদের টোটাল স্টুডেন্ট কতজন? সাইদ
57।
এখনো তো 3 জন আসে নাই দেখি। আমরা কিন্তু রোল কল করব, এটা অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স তোমাদের কাউন্ট হবে, এবং অন্য গ্রুপরাও ইউ হ্যাভ অল দ্য রাইট, এবং আমি আশা করবো যে অন্যরাও প্রশ্ন করবা, ঠিক আছে, অন্যরাই করবা বাকিরা, তো সুতরাং কেয়ারফুলি শুনবা। রোল 2, তুমি ইয়া করো, ভিডিও বন্ধ করো এখন, ভিডিও থাকলে ওই যে অসুবিধা হয়।
জি স্যার, সরি স্যার।
সাদমান কি আসছো? কই তুমি জয়েন করছো? হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, তুমি কি জয়েন করছো কিনা? ওই তোমাকে তো আমি এতবার করে চিৎকার করে ডাকতেছি, তো তো থাকলে রেসপন্স করতেছো না তো। তাহলে শুরু করবো কিভাবে? তাহলে তুমি শুনতে পাচ্ছ? গ্রুপ 1 তোমরা রেডি করো, গ্রুপ এ। আমরা আজকে চেষ্টা করব 5টা গ্রুপের নিতে, ঠিক আছে, 5টা গ্রুপের লিস্ট। আমার আবার 11টার সময় আরেকটা ইয়ে আছে।
স্যার স্ক্রিন শেয়ার দেওয়ার জন্য পারমিশন লাগবে।
তুমি কো-হোস্ট,
কাকে পারমিশন দিবেন বলেন? কে পারমিশন চাচ্ছেন?
আমাকে দিন। নওশাদ।
নওশাদ
দিয়ে দিছি, দেখেন।
সাদমান কি শুনতে পাচ্ছ?
স্যার, জি শুনতে পাচ্ছি স্যার।
ভাই পারমিশন দেওয়া হয়নি।
আপনাকে পারমিশন দেওয়া হয়েছে আমার এখান থেকে, আপনি একটু ট্রাই করে দেখেন রেকর্ড করার জন্য।
রেকর্ড না তো, সে তো
রেকর্ড না।
প্রেজেন্টেশন।
হ্যাঁ,
এই সাদমান
স্ক্রিন শেয়ারিং এর পারমিশনটা দেন।
আপনি স্ক্রিন শেয়ার স্ক্রিনে যে আপনি আপনার স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করেন, স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করে প্রেজেন্টেশন ভিডিওটা প্লে করুন।
মারুফ ভাই, ওই স্ক্রিন শেয়ারিং এর মনে হয় পারমিশন দরকার আছে। এখানে লেখা আছে হোস্ট ডিসেবল পার্টিসিপেন্ট স্ক্রিন শেয়ারিং।
হ্যাঁ, এখন ট্রাই করেন, আমি মাত্র দিছি, আবার ট্রাই করেন।
সাদমান তোমাকেও আমি কো-হোস্ট দিছি, দেখো তুমিও দেখতে পারবে।
জি স্যার।
এখন করতে পারতেছেন?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আসছে।
ঠিক আছে, ওকে, ধন্যবাদ।
স্যার শুরু করবো?
হ্যাঁ শুরু করো, এমনি আমরা অলরেডি 12 মিনিট চলে গেছে। তোমার ইয়া সাউন্ড বাড়াও, শোনা যাচ্ছে না।
To present here. This is the outline of our presentation. We will start with the introduction and we will end with conclusion. The points are listed below. Conclusion. First, we have to understand the multiple access, but before that, we have to understand what is multiplexing. For that, multiplexing is the process to combine multiple signals for transmit it over a single channel or media. Multiple access just means many can access at one time. It defines how user in a wireless network share a common medium. So multiple access is basically the real-time application of multiplexing. Multiple access protocol is divided into three areas: random access protocol, controlled access protocol, channelization protocol. And we are going through the channelization protocol. FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA are the part of channelization protocol. FDMA. In frequency division multiple access, the available bandwidth is divided into frequency band that are separated by the guard bands. And in TDMA, time division multiple access, the stations share the bandwidth of the channel in time. The bandwidth is just one channel, that is time shared between the different stations. Next slide, we are going for the CDMA. Code division multiple access is a digital technology used for mobile communication. CDMA is based on which access methods such as CDMA1, CDMA 2000, and CDMA is built for. A simple analogy to understand. Let's take a simple example to understand the concept of CDMA. Assume we have few students gathered in a classroom who would like to talk each other simultaneously. Nothing would be audible if everyone starts speaking at the same time. Either they must take turn to speak or use different languages to communicate. The second option is quite similar to CDMA. Students speaking the same language can understand each other, while other languages are considered as noise and rejected. Similarly, in radio CDMA, each group of users is given a shared code. Many codes occupy the same channel, but only those users are associated with a particular port can communicate. CDMA allows up to 61 concurrent users in a 1.2288 MHz channel by processing each voice packet with pin codes. These are 64 words code available to differentiate between calls and theoretical limits. Operational limits and quality issue will reduce the maximum number of calls somewhat lower than this value. In fact, many different signals based with different spreading codes can be modulated on the same carrier to allow many users to be supported. Using different analogical codes or orthogonal codes, interference between the signal is minimal. Thus, when signals are received from several mobile stations, the base station is capable of isolating each as they have different orthogonal spreading codes. This is how the CDMA works. This is the evolution of cellular system. First generation was FDMA and the application was NMT and CTO, etc. Second generation was TDMA and the application was GSM and GPRS, which was really very valuable. And third generation is going through the CDMA. Application is CDMA 2000. I am welcoming my next member to present the slides.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Shahnaz Islam, role 04. Types of CDMA. There are two types of CDMA: frequency hopping spread spectrum CDMA, direct sequence spread spectrum CDMA. Frequency hopping spread spectrum CDMA uses multiple frequencies, and direct sequence spread spectrum CDMA uses single frequency. Frequency hopping spread spectrum CDMA. It has some characteristics. Fixed sequence of frequency values and times is divided into slots. In the first time slot, a given user transmits to the base station using the first frequency in its frequency hopping sequence. In the next time interval is transmits using the second frequency value in its frequency hopping sequence, and so on. This way the transmit frequency keeps changing in time. Here is a graph of frequency hopping spread CDMA. If we use the whole power to send and receive data, and we can say this data could be easily intercepted. This type of transmission method is called frequency hopping spread spectrum. Hopping pattern is known only to receiver and sender. Different senders use different hopping pattern at different time. Direct sequence spread spectrum. Each user transmits its message to the base station using the same frequency at the same time. Here signals from different users interface with each other, but the user distinguishes its message by using a special unique code. This code serves as a special language that only the transmitter and receiver understand. Block diagram of TSSS. Here it combines data signals directly with a higher bit rate sequence. At the sending end, original data are going into a spreading modulator. Here also a PSK signal and a chip generator and a PN sequence. Chip generator that is generating chip.
Hello everyone, this is Sharifah from role 7.
Here we are about to discuss the classifications of the systems that are built on
Louder voice.
the first family of standards that were derived using CDMA is called CDMA1. It consists of the standards named IS-95, IS-95A, IS-95B. From IS-95 then evolved CDMA 2000. It represents another family of standards that satisfies the requirement of International Mobile Telecommunication 2000 system. Standards that are under this family are CDMA 2001X RTT, CDMA 2001X EV, CDMA 2001X RTT. Now let's see the specifications of these standards in brief. The first standard is IS-95, which stands for Interim System 95. It is a second generation mobile telecommunication standard based on code division multiple access technology. It was actually the very first cellular telecommunication system that used CDMA and then was adopted as a standard by TIA in 1995. This system evolved in new variants named IS-95A and IS-95B with various bugs fixed and added data rates. For example, in IS-95A, the data rate is 14.4 kbps, and in IS-95B, it is 115 kbps. Both variants operate in 800 MHz and 1900 MHz bands. Next is CDMA 2000. It was the first 3G technology to be deployed as part of the ITU's IMT 2000 framework in the year 2000. The first variant of this family is CDMA 2001X RTT, or Single Carrier Radio Transmission Technology. It enables 100 callers to share a single 1.25 MHz channel and provides a peak data rate of 153 kbps. The second variant is CDMA 2003X RTT, which uses 3 adjacent channels of 1.25 MHz band. It can also provide packet data throughput speed of 2 megabit per second per user. The third and last variant of this family is CDMA 2001X EV. It has the option of providing the mobile users with dedicated services like data only, which is known as CDMA 2001X EV DO, or data and voice, which is known as CDMA 2001X EV DV. It has the peak data rate of 3.1 Mbps per channel. Thank you all.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. I am Tsb Collective. My IT is Lte. Cdma application in mobile network. IS-95. It is mainly used in USA. First commercially launched in 1996. Basic data rate is 9.6 kbps. Peak rate of 1.22 rated MCPS. Allocated bandwidth is 1.25 MHz. Fixed spreading code of length is 64. CDMA 2000. CDMA 2001X use same 1.25 MHz as IS-95. CDMA 2001X EVDO. CDMA 2001X EVDO delivers peak data speeds of 2.4 Mbps and supports applications such as MP3 transfers and video conferencing. CDMA 2001X EVDV. CDMA 2001X EVDV provides integrated voice and simultaneous high speed packet data multimedia services at speeds of up to 3.09 Mbps. CDMA. The faster chiplet is 3.84 Mbps, 5 MHz bandwidth, and wider bandwidth implies greater frequency diversity with rate receiver. Data rates up to 2 Mbps for packet switched data. Among FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA. FDMA means frequency division multiple access, TDMA means time division multiple access, and CDMA means code division multiple access. FDMA does not use full bandwidth, TDMA uses full bandwidth within allocated transport, and CDMA uses full bandwidth throughout operation. FDMA is generally analog, TDMA is digital, and CDMA is digital. In FDMA and TDMA, interference may occur, but in CDMA, interference is eliminated. In FDMA and CDMA, synchronization is not required, but in TDMA, synchronization is required. Flexibility of FDMA is poor, in TDMA it is better, and in CDMA it is best. In FDMA and TDMA, no code word is necessary, but in CDMA, code word is necessary. FDMA is almost insecure, but TDMA is better than FDMA, and CDMA is fully secure. Bit rate of FDMA is medium, in TDMA it is high, and in CDMA it is low. Applications of FDMA is it is used in radio TV and analog cellular. TDMA uses in GSM and PDC, and in CDMA it uses in 2.53 and 3G. Now I am requesting my next group member to describe her part. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Nishat Taslim Noshi and my ID is 215499101. You already know that our presentation topic is CDN. In my whole presentation, I will discuss the Dma transmitter and receiver. The figure shows that one channel is operated in one direction and the signal transmission consists of the following steps. First, analog to digital conversion of voice. Cdma uses pulse code modulation for converting analog voice or audio to digital signal. Then, voice compression. Cdma uses a special device vocoder to do voice compression. They are located at the base station controller and in the port. Then, encoding and interleaving. Encoders and interleavers build redundancy into the signal so that information lost in the transmission can be recovered. Then, channelization. The encoded data after encoding and interleaving is again encoded to separate it from other encoded data. After that, encoded signals are spread over the entire channel. Then, converting digital signal to a radio frequency signal. The channelized data from all calls are combined into the one signal and then it is converted into radio frequency signal for transmission. At the receiving side, the step follows are just opposite to the sender side. The signal reception also involves the following steps. First, the radio frequency signal is converted to digital signal. Then the received signal is mixed with a local carrier to recover the spread digital signal. Then a pseudo-random code is generated and matched with the anticipated signal for the interleaving and decoding. Then the receiver acquires the received code and press locks his own code to it for voice decompression. Then the received signal is correlated with the generated code and finally the digital to analog voice is extracted. Now I am requesting my next group member to describe this part. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. My name is Abdullah Noshat, role 20. Now I am going to discuss about the working principle of Cdma. We already know that in Cdma, one channel carries all transmission simultaneously in the shared medium, but there is no collision. Let us assume we have four stations 1, 2, 3, and 4 are connected in the same channel. The data from station 1 RD1 from station 2 RD2 and so on. The code assigned to the first station is C1, to the second station C2 and so on. Now let's see how the four stations send data using the common channel. Station 1 multiplies its data by its port to get D1 C1. Station 2 multiplies its data with port to get D1 D2 C2 and so on. The sum of all these data go on the common channel shown in the box. This is a simple idea of communication with code. Let's see an example for better understanding. We know Cdma is based on coding theory. Previous slides we see each station is assigned a unique code which is a sequence of number called chips. These codes have two properties. Number one, if we multiply each code by another, we get 0, and number two, if we multiply each code by itself, we get the number of the station. We follow data representation for encoding. If a station sends a 0 bit, it encodes it as -1. If it sends 1 bit, it encodes it plus 1. When a station is silent, it sends no signal represent as 0. Now we assume that the station 1 and 2 are sending 0 bit, station 3 are silent, and station 4 sends 1 bit. The data at the sender side translated to -1, -1, 0, and +1. Each station multiplies its corresponding number of its chips. The sequence on the channel is the sum of the four sequence. The process can be better understood if we show the digital signal produced by the each station. The figure shows the corresponding signal for each station and the signal is on the common channel. A station can detect the data sent by the other station. Suppose station 3 wants to detect the data sent by the station 2, for which the total data on the channel is multiplied by the station 2's chips code
to get a new channel. Then the inner code integrate and add the signals. Then it's divided by the number of the station and it's interpreted to get the required data. Previously, we see the chip sequences. To generate these chip sequences, we use a Walsh table. Two basic rules followed in Walsh tables. First rules, W1 is equal to +1. W1 for one chip sequences has one row and one column. We can choose either -1 or +1. Here we choose +1. And second rules, W2 is to n is equal to Wn, Wn, Wn and complementary of Wn. If we want to generate the values
A,
of
according to our time,
we
the
can
time
put
is
the values
over.
n is
15
equal to
minutes.
1 and we get the values of W2.
অসুবিধা নাই
If we
তারা
want to
মানে প্রমাণ
find the
করে
values
Okay,
of
sir.
W4, we can put the values n equal to 2 and we get the chip sequences for the values of W4. Now in Walsh tables, each row is a sequence of chips. That's how we can generate these chip sequences. That's it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Abdullah and Noshad. Assalamu alaikum, sir. I am Muhammad Ibrahim Khalil. My ID is 19. Here I am going to describe the advantages of CDMA. One of the main advantages of CDMA is its capacity. It has a very high spectral capacity that it can accommodate more users per megahertz of bandwidth. The CDMA does not require any synchronization. Call quality is better. Large number of users can share same bandwidth. Another advantage is it has high voice quality. CDMA can work in extremely low force level. Lastly, it has better multiple execution. Now I am going to present the drawbacks of CDMA. In CDMA, time synchronization is required. It can't offer worldwide maintaining a huge GSM advantage. Another drawbacks is an organization of CDMA isn't adult since it is moderately new with GSM. A large code length can induce delay or may cause interference. Data expense, the system is more complicated. Code division multiple access is a sort of multiplexing that facilitates various signals to occupy a single transmission channel. In Bluetooth, uses fast FS CDMA. Global position system uses CDMA. It is used in military and some commercial application. It is used in mobile communication. It is also used in radar and navigation systems. At the end, we conclude that CDMA is another new technique for modulated signals like TDMA and LTE. But in CDMA, the all frequencies is used at the same time for different users. Also in CDMA, a shift register is needed in order to give a course which will multiply with the data from the data source. CDMA has strong again interference. It provides more number of users per cell site, a very secure mode of communication and more power efficient. Finally, the speed spectrum is needed with chips in each bits. A multiplier is needed to multiply the data with the chip. This will make the spectrum to be speed, which will change the signal from the narrow band to wide band with larger bandwidth and so larger data rate. Here are the references. That's all from me. Thank you. Any question?
Thank you very much for group A.
Thank you, sir.
Then I have one question. Then frequency hopping and direct sequence spread spectrum technique. What is the basic difference between two? Frequency hopping and direct sequence of spread spectrum technique. এই দুটার ভিতরে বেসিক ডিফারেন্সটা কি?
ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি হোপিং এর মধ্যে মাল্টিপল ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি ইউজ করা হয় আর হচ্ছে যে কি ডাইরেক্ট সিকোয়েন্সের মধ্যে হচ্ছে যে কি সিঙ্গেল ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি ইউজ করা হয়।
স্পিক ইন ইংলিশ। না, এটা কনসেপ্টটা ক্লিয়ার হলো না তো। আর why it is called spread spectrum? তোমার ওই যে ইয়াটা আছে না তোমাদের কি বলে যে পাওয়ার পয়েন্ট, ওইটা অন করো, তাহলে ওইখান থেকে বলতে পারবা, সুবিধা হবে। পাওয়ার পয়েন্টটা শেয়ার করো, তাহলে হয়তো বলতে সুবিধা হবে। রেকর্ডেডটা না, আরেকটা পাঠাইছো না?
জি স্যার।
বেসিক ডিফারেন্সটা কি এটা বলতে পারতেছ না তো? মানে স্প্রেড স্পেকট্রাম কেন বলি আমরা, why we say স্প্রেড স্পেকট্রাম? এগুলা দেখে বলতে পারবে না যদি তুমি না জানো। আচ্ছা, আরেক জায়গায় ইউজ করছো র্যাক রিসিভার। ডু ইউ হ্যাভ এনি আইডিয়া অ্যাবাউট দ্য র্যাক রিসিভার? আই হ্যাভ সিন আরো আগে কোন এক জায়গায় ইউজ করছো র্যাক রিসিভার। এমনি খুঁজে পাবা না তো, যে বলছো ও বলতে হবে তো। আইডিয়া আছে র্যাক রিসিভার?
জি স্যার, এটা নিয়ে স্মার্ট আপু কাজ করেছে।
স্মার্ট বলতে পারবা?
স্যার অন্য কেউ বলতে চাই, বলতে পারবো
না
স্যার?
না, আগে স্মার্ট কে বলতে দাও, যেহেতু স্মার্ট।
Sir, one kind of receiver that combined multipath signal, অনেকগুলো সিগন্যালকে একসাথে কম্বাইন্ড করে, সেটাকে র্যাক রিসিভার বলা হয়।
তুমি কি জেনে বলতেছো? এনি আইডিয়া আদার মেম্বার?
Rack receivers are a radio receiver designed to counter the effect of multiple fading.
Or how about the voice decompression? Why we use it in the receiving end? Voice decompression তোমরা লিখছো এগুলো এখানে? এইখানে এইটাতেই আছে। বলো, এটা কে বলছিল?
স্যার নিশাত তাসনিম নওশিন আপু বলছিলেন।
হ্যাঁ, তাসনিম, নিশাত।
স্যার স্যার এটা হচ্ছে যে কি যে যে রিসিভ যে কোডটা থাকে সেটা হচ্ছে যে কি যে সেন্ডার সাইড আর রিসিভার সাইডে কোডটা ম্যাচ করার জন্য এটা হচ্ছে যে কি যে ইউজ করা হয়।
কোড ইউজ করে হয়তো আমরা, আমাদের তো প্রত্যেকটা ক্লায়েন্টকে মানে ডিফারেন্সিয়েট করার জন্য তো আমাদের তো প্রত্যেকটা কোড মানে সেপারেট করতে হবে। বাট এখানে কেন আমরা ভয়েস ডিকম্প্রেসার বলতেছি? অন্য মেম্বার? সাদমান, তোমার কোশ্চেন আছে কিনা জিজ্ঞেস করো।
Ji sir, I have one question. So this question is very basic. I hope that you can answer. What is the basic difference between multiplexing and multiple access? Okay, anyone can answer.
Yes, I want to answer it from the group.
Sure.
Multiplexing is a process to combine multiple signals for transmitted over a single channel, and multiple access is means many can access it at one time. So multiple access is the application of multiplexing.
Yes, you are right. So multiplexing is number of signals. We are multiplexing it and sending through a channel. And when it will come to the questioning of channel, then there will be multiple channel. Then we will use multiple access. That how each channel can use the slots. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
এটা কে
So what
বললা?
is your name?
20, roll 20.
Sir, roll 2, sir.
না স্যার, এটা 2 বলছে সাবির।
Roll 2. এবার গ্রুপ মেম্বার আদার দেন দিস গ্রুপ, অন্যরা জিজ্ঞেস করো। এটাতে কিন্তু মার্ক আছে। Those who are asking question.
Sir, I'm roll 37. Roll 37.
Group কোন গ্রুপ?
Sir, group G.
আচ্ছা, হ্যাঁ 37, হ্যাঁ কোশ্চেন করো।
Sir, maybe I'm not sure, but I have heard that there is a problem that we face in CDMA, that is near far problem. Can anyone please hint a bit what is near far problem in CDMA technology?
Near far problem is a problem that hurts mobile communication.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে
স্যার এটা হচ্ছে যে নিয়ার ফর প্রবলেম হচ্ছে ইন্টারফারেন্স আমাদের যে হয় এটা ডিসটরশন, তারপরে ক্যাপচার ইফেক্ট, এগুলো হচ্ছে নিয়ার ফর প্রবলেম।
এটা কে বলছো?
স্যার রোল 19।
কোন গ্রুপ?
স্যার গ্রুপ এ।
As far as I know that some devices are away from the transmitter and some are close. That's why the problem arises. So I as far as I can recall, I thought someone would elaborate on this. Okay, thank you, sir.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, thank you. We are running shortage of time because already half an hour gone. So thank you very much for the group presentation of group A. Especially thanks to roll 20.
Thank you.
This part is very good. সবাই ভালো করছো, তোমাদের অনেক ইনফরমেশন ছিল। কারো তো রেকর্ডিং কোয়ালিটি ইজ নট সো গুড আছে, কারো ভয়েসের ডিফারেন্স আছে, এভরিওয়ান হার্ড ইট, বাট ইভেন দ্যাট ইউ ডিড ওয়েল। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
Thank you, sir.
So
Thank you, sir.
The next group.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Group B.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam. তোমরা কে ফার্স্ট প্রেজেন্টার?
Assalamu alaikum, sir. আমি
জোরে বলো, আমি বুঝতেছি না।
আমি সাদিয়া আফরিন, আমি ফার্স্ট প্রেজেন্টার।
Okay, fine. You start.
Yes, sir.
স্ক্রিন শেয়ারটা কি আমি করব?
The sequence there আছে না, first presenter is 26. Someone on the video.
স্ক্রিন শেয়ার করুন ভাইয়া।
শুরু করো।
জি স্যার। স্যার দেখা যাচ্ছে কি?
হ্যাঁ দেখা যাচ্ছে। You can start.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning everyone. I am Sadia Afrin. Our presentation topic is Universal Mobile Telecommunication.
Sound একটু বাড়াও।
Our course title is Advanced Telecommunication Network. Here we are 7 members in Group B. These are our contents which we will present today. So I am going into introduction part. UMTS, that is Universal Mobile Telecommunications System. Since the beginning of the 1990s, the mobile telecommunication sector, to mention the cellular communication services, has continued to grow and evolved strongly. UMTS is a third-generation broadband packet-based transmission of text, digitized voice, video, and multimedia at data rates up to 2 megabits per second, which also includes GPRS, that is General Packet Radio Service, and Edge, that is Enhanced Data Rate for GSM evolution. It has the higher bandwidth, also enables video conferencing or IPTV. UMTS offers a consistent set of services to mobile computer and phone users no matter where they are located in the world. Then history. Evolution of mobile communication. Electromagnetic waves were firstly discovered as a communication medium at the end of the 19th century. Henry Hertz demonstrated practically the electromagnetic wave transmission in free space based on Maxwell's theories of electromagnetic fields in 1886. The disadvantages of those early single-cell systems, which were solely based on amplitude modulation, range from restricted mobility, low capacity, limited surface to poor speech quality. A great step towards improved radio transmission was introduced with the invention of the frequency modulation technique by Edwin H. Armstrong in the year 1933. History of UMTS, that is first generation analog cellular. The first analog cellular systems were introduced in the 1970s and 1980s, to mention the B and later the C network in 1986. The further developments of 2G cellular systems were driven by the need to improve transmission quality, system capacity, coverage, and standardization. Here GSM could support 10,000 people per square kilometer. Second to third generation. Since phase 1 of the standardization process of GSM 900, multiple teleservice and bearer service have been specified, including data transmission up to 9 kbps. The most revolutionary services were added with the ability to support packet switched data. We have tried to show here the characteristics of third generation of mobile telecommunications, and the figure shows the UMTS deployment. The International Mobile Telecommunication 2000, that is IMT 2000 standard, is actually a family of standards for third generation wireless communications. A number of organizations recognized the need for a global standard for the next generation of mobile telecommunication services. 3G standards was set in place by the International Telecommunication Union, ITOR. I am requesting Afrin Sultana to continue the next slide of this presentation. Thank you everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Afrin Sultana. Now I am going to start my portion, features. The features of UMTS are high-speed packet access, handover to GSM, multimedia messaging service, multimedia telephony for IMS, IP-based multimedia core network subsystem, operation in other frequency bands, multimedia broadcast multicast service, wireless LAN interworking, and network selection. High-speed packet access. With HSDPA high-speed downlink packet access and HSUPA high-speed uplink packet access, a peak data rate of 10.2 megabit per second in the download direction. Handover to GSM. Voice calls and data traffic can be transferred between GSM, Global System Mobile Communication, and UMTS, Universal Mobile Telecommunication Service, seamlessly. Multimedia Messaging Service. It allows the transfer of multimedia messages between users without the requirement for the multimedia messages to transfer in real time. Multimedia telephony for IMS. This uses IMS to offer telephony services such as video, text, picture sharing, video clip sharing, etc. IP-based multimedia core network subsystem. This provides support for IP multimedia session in a flexible manner to allow new multimedia products and services to be offered. This IMS can use both the GPRS General Packet Radio Service and UMTS radio access technologies. Operation in other frequency bands. In addition to the 2 GHz band, UMTS can also operate in the 810 MHz, 900 MHz, 1700 MHz, and 2.6 GHz bands. Multimedia broadcast multicast service. This allows information such as streamed audio and video to be sent over the radio channel to many customers simultaneously. Wireless LAN interworking. This allows connection to the core network using wireless LAN as well as the usual UMTS radio access. Network selection. Network operators can select best network for their needs while roaming. UMTS mode. UMTS has 2 modes, UMTS FDD, UMTS TDD. UMTS FDD means frequency division duplex mode. In frequency division duplex mode, there are two frequencies used, one for the uplink and the other for the downlink. UMTS TDD means time division duplex mode. In time division duplex mode, only one frequency is used for both uplink and downlink, but the frequency is divided into time slots for uplink and downlink communication, as we can see in this image. Basically, FDD needs fewer base stations than TDD. Since FDD devices achieve desired call edge rates at further distances, the number of base stations required to achieve a given area of coverage is reduced. In a coverage limited system comparison using the same frequency band, the TDD system requires 31% more base stations than FDD. When using a 1:1 TDD system and 65% more stations when using a 2:1 TDD system, higher frequency bands require even more base stations.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Jain Tabassum. My ID is 22. Now I am going to present the architecture of UMTS. The UMTS network architecture can be divided into three main elements: user equipment, UTRAN, and core network. User equipment is previously called mobile or handset. Then UTRAN. This is the middle section of 3G UMTS network that interfaces to both the UE and the core network. And lastly, the core network, which provides all the central processing and management for the system. All the elements are linked with defined interfaces. The details of these three elements will be described in the next slide. User equipment. The user equipment is the name given to what was previously termed the mobile or cell phone. The new name was chosen because the greater functionality. It is not a simple mobile phone, but rather a mobile multimedia terminal provides simultaneously voice, video and data service. It composed of two parts: mobile equipment and universal mobile subscriber module. Mobile equipment. In EMTS, it provides much higher speed data communication, more versatile and containing many more applications. It performs reliable data and signaling message transfer throughout the radio interface. It is responsible for getting connected to the network. The air interface between the mobile equipment and rest of the network is known as the UU interface. There are a number of elements within the UU that can be described separately. RF circuitry. The RF area handles all the elements of signal, both for receiver and transmitter. One of the major challenges for RF power amplifier was to reduce the power consumption. The baseband signal processing consists of digital circuitry. This is considerably more complicated than used in other previous generation phone. Again, this has been optimized to reduce the current consumption as far as possible. Battery. It consists of one or more electromagnetic cells with external connection of powering. Universal Subscriber Identity Module. The UE also contains a SIM card, although in the case of UMTS it termed a USIM. It has personal identification number PIN. It holds the preferred language to enable the correct language information to be displayed. It performs authentication algorithm and store authentication and encryption key. It contains the International Mobile Subscriber Identity Number as well as the Mobile Station International ISDN number. It is more secure and advanced version of SIM card used in GSM and other systems. Here is my part. The rest of the part will be continued by next group member. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Saima Zaman and my ID is 10. I'm going to talk about one of the architectural features that is UTRAN. The full form of this is Universal Terrestrial Radio Access Network. It is the radio access network within UMTS, and it is the fixed network infrastructure that contains the facilities for the transmission to and from the mobile users over radio. These are the components of UTRAN. Node B, it is the base stations in UMTS. RNC, the full form of RNC is Radio Network Controller, and it is a governing element which controls and manages the radio access network and radio channels. It is connected to the core network. Next is RNS. A set of network subsystems are called radio network systems, that is RNS. It is consisted of the control nodes Rnc and one or more than one node Bs. Moving on to the responsibilities of Rnc and Rns. Rnc handovers decisions that require signaling to the user equipment. Moreover, it is also being used for the integrity of the radio resources within the RNS. It also provides combining or splitting function to support macro diversity between different node B. Having said that, it provides air interface between user equipment and core network. Also, RNS is responsible for the resources of its set of cells. Here comes node B. The main task of node B is transmitting data in one or more cells to user equipment radio interface. Besides, it is responsible for ATM termination inner loop power control. However, it reports radio measurements to the RNC and node B participates in power controls as well. This is all from my side. Next part will be described by my group member, Shravani. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Shravani Deprapti. My ID is 33. Now I'm talking about core network. Core network provides all the central processing and management for the system. It is equivalent of the GSM network switching subsystem or NSS. NSS is the component of a GSM system that carries call out and mobility management functions for mobile phones roaming on the network. It can be divided into two different areas. One is circuit switch elements, another is packet switch elements. Here is the diagram of core network. It includes component of circuit switch elements and packet switch elements. To connect with Utut, it also used interfaces. Circuit switch elements. These elements are primarily based on GSM network entities and carry data in a circuit switch manner. It is a permanent channel for the duration of the call. The circuit switch elements of the UMTS core network architecture includes the following network entities. One is Mobile Switching Center, MSC, another is Gateway MSC, GMSC. MSC. It is basically an exchange that performs all the switching and signaling function. This is essentially the same as the within GSM, and it manages the circuit switch calls underway. It provides some functions, and those are call management, mobility management, subscriber administration, maintenance of charging data, supplementary call services. MSC, GMSC. This is effectively the interface to the external networks. Gateway MSC provides interconnection between the UMTS core network and external Pstn, ISDN networks. Here Pstn stands for Public Switch Telephone Network. We can define Pstn is an agglomeration of an interconnected network of telephone lines owned by both government as well as commercial organizations. And ISDN stands for Integrated Services Digital Network. We can define ISDN as a circuit switch telephone network system that transmits both data and voice over a digital line. Now my another group member will continue the slide. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Salsabil Shama and my ID is 11. Now I am going to talk about packet switched elements of core network. Earlier we have said that core network is divided into two parts and packet switched element is the second part of it. Packet switched elements, these network entities are designed to carry packet data. This enables much higher network uses as the capacity can be shared and data is carried as packets which are routed according to their destination. The packet switched elements of the 3G UMTS core network architecture includes the following network entities. Number 1, serving GPRS support node SGSN, and number 2, gateway GPRS support node GGSN. SGSN, serving GPRS support node SGSN. This entity was first developed when GPRS General Packet Radio Service was introduced and its use has been carried over into the UMTS network architecture. SGSN provides a number of functions within the UMTS network architecture. Those are 1. Mobility management, 2. Session management, 3. Interaction with other areas of the network, and 4. Billing. GGSN Gateway GPRS Support Node GGSN. It is the main central element in the UMTS core network, and it handles interworking between the UMTS packet switch network and external packet switch networks. When the GGSN receives data addressed to the specific user, it checks if the user is active and then forwards the data to the SGSN serving the particular UE. Now I am going to talk about shared elements. Shared elements of the core network are the following entities. Number 1, Home Location Register, HLR. This database contains all the administrative informations about each subscriber along with their last known location, and in this way the UMTS network is able to route calls to the relevant RNC or node B. Number 2, Equipment Identity Register, EIR. The EIR is the entity that decides whether a given UE equipment may be allowed onto the network, or each UE equipment has a number known as the International Mobile Equipment Identity. Number 3, Authentication Center. That is, the Authentication Center is a protected database that contains the secret key, also contain the user's UC card. Now my next group member will continue the slide. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. I am Abdullah Al Muhaimin, ID 031. Now I present my part. Advantage of UMTS. When we use 2G network, which is based on GSM, then we suffer from many limitations. But 3G mobile network achieve high of speed, which was lacking in 2G technology. Advanced GPRS and EDGE are used in UMTS. Network speed will be increased in UMTS. Downloading speed is up to 21 Mbps and uploading speed is up to 5 Mbps. In 2G network, video call cannot be made, but in 3G, both video and audio call can be made. We are able to exchange higher information rate at a much lower cost. 3G network offer a greater security, give a good bandwidth, and reliability is much higher. 3G network offers user advantages such as new data spectrum to relieve overcrowding in existing system. 3G service will seamlessly combine superior video quality, high-speed mobile IP services, information technology, rich media, and offer deserved content. Data transmission rate can be more than 4 million bit per second. The features like mobile TV video transfer, GPS system are additional features of 3G technology. Disadvantage: it is more expensive than GSM. Roaming and data work together has not yet been implemented. For higher data transfer, power consumed is high. Although there is a video call facilities, but its quality is
সাউন্ডটা একটু
much
বড়
low.
করে দাও।
There is no broadband facilities. 3G network requires close base station, but it is very expensive to establish. For higher speed, it drains a lot of battery. Conclusion: UMTS is significant opportunity for manufacturers, operators, regulators, and content provider, both as a communication system in itself and as a part of the greater information society. The vision of UMTS is as a customer-focused system where customers include both network operators and users. The challenge to the communication industry is to integrate the technology needed of UMTS in a way which supports this goal and thereby transforms the vision into reality. These are the reference. Thank you everyone.
Go back to PowerPoint presentation. Last man, 31. Roll 31.
স্যার আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার
তুমি দেখছো তো মানে আগের presentation and right now you have seen your own presentation. So how far you have devoted?
স্যার
বুঝতে পারছো?
জি স্যার আমি
7 গুণা 14 জনের মানে 14 জনের ভিতরে 13% presentation you have seen. So you can evaluate yourself. আচ্ছা সাদমান তুমি কোশ্চেন করো আমাদের অলরেডি 1 ঘন্টার উপরে চলে গেছে কুইক তুমি একটা করবা আর আদার পার্টিসিপেন্ট will get a chance for a single question.
Okay, sir. Then I have one question. So the question is directly to Sadia and Shravani. So in your slides, you have mentioned packet switch elements and circuit switch elements. Can you please tell us what is packet switch network and circuit switch network?
Good question.
Okay, don't Google it. Just try to answer from what you have prepared.
Packet switch network actually it's a protocol that divides packets before sending data.
Circuit switch.
Circuit switch before sending. No.
No, actually. Packet switch and circuit switch are two things. You know, the telephone connection that you have, it is circuit switch. It is end-to-end connection. So the two users will have end-to-end connections. It is circuit switch. And in packet switch, it is connectionless. The Wi-Fi we are using right now, the mobile communication, they are connectionless. The information is converted into packets and they are sent. And in the receiver side, they are received and again arranged in the chronological manner. So then we get the main information. So the main thing is the packet switch is connectionless and the circuit switch is connection oriented.
Yes, sir.
From the student, you are allowed to ask one question.
Sir, I want to ask one question.
তোমার সাউন্ড ছোট করো।
Hello? Hello?
Noise is coming, too much noise.
স্যার আমার ল্যাপটপের কুলিং ফ্যানের সাউন্ড স্যার এটা কিভাবে
That case you drop another person.
Sir, আমি একটা কোশ্চেন করেছিলাম স্যার।
হ্যাঁ করো quickly.
Okay, so actually how mobility management works in mobile switching center?
Very good question. So what is your name?
Sir, Nazmuna Khanam, role 1.
Group কোন গ্রুপে?
Group C sir, group C sir. C.
Okay, ঠিক আছে।
Thank you.
Sir, it's basically working for authentication. When an user equipment is requesting to the network, it checks the authentication of the call and data, basically mobility management.
কে বললা এটা?
Sir, আমি শ্রাবণীতে প্রাপ্তি, role 33.
Okay, thank you very much, this group, because we are running shortage of time, more than 1 hour. I don't know how many group we can accommodate today. Okay, the third group, group C. Group C.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start. You can start, please, quickly.
Our honorable faculty and fellow classmates, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm Nazmuna Khanum with ID 2154991001. Today, I'm going to present long-term evaluation LTE 4G. As you can see, here are the contents that we have come up with in order to discuss in depth of this following topic. Networks are classified into generations based on speed, connectivity, and reliability standards set forth by ITU-R. 4G stands for the fourth generation of telephone service. It is the general standard now and is considered fairly fast in today's world. It also provides wireless network access at a higher speed. So,
We can clearly see that 4G is faster and more reliable as it was lower than previous generation. It is also known as mobile broadband anywhere. One of the terms to define 4G is MAGI. M for mobile multimedia, A for anytime anywhere, G for global mobility support, I for integrated wireless solution, and C for customers' personal service. So higher bandwidth enables a range of new applications for customer and for business as well. For customer, it improves user experience by delivering enhanced real-time multimedia. And not only that, for business, it also offers high-speed VPN services along with greater security and privacy. 4G creates a platform upon which to build and deploy the products and services of today and those of tomorrow.
What happened?
স্যার উনি ভুলে মিউট করে ফেলছেন।
বলো ওনারে বলো ও তো বুঝে নাই।
মেবি আমাদের
phone is advertised as 4G, it uses Lte technology. So it also has special features to manage the network to business as well. For customer, it improves user experience by delivering enhanced real-time multimedia. And not only that, for business, it also offers high-speed VPN services along with greater security and privacy. 4G creates a platform upon which to build and deploy the products and services of today and those of tomorrow. So long-term evolution is the technology behind 4G. It is an open, interoperable global standard technology used by virtually all carriers. As you can see, all major smartphones use Lte today. In fact, there is no such thing as 4G as defined by the standard set code. Even if your phone is advertised as 4G, it uses Lte technology. So it also has special features to manage the network. First, it can assign priorities to customers. Emergency calls get a higher priority for calls than someone like me. And if there are many folks on the network, the priorities will decide which call gets through first and which one might get dropped. So one other features of Lte is that it is a self-organizing network. It means that if there is an outage, the calls will be rerouted to another path automatically. And once service is restored, the network will revert back to its optimally designed path. So 4G and Lte together they make 4G Lte the fastest 4G service available today. However, we can achieve higher speed in two ways that helps to reach an accepted standard. So the first generation of mobile communications started with AMPS, which was an analog system and can be thought of as 1G. So from there, we progressed to GSM and Cdma1, which is pretty much regarded as 2G, and then to UMTS and EPGO, which are 3D technologies. And the latest technologies that are regarded as candidates for 4G are LTE and 802.16m. So in this case, it serves some significant purposes such as ensuring high network capacity and high quality service for next generation multimedia. LTE's technology advances to help the company deliver true mobility to its customers. Its improved speed and greater bandwidth offers enough business applications and services to enhance productivity. So with 4G LTE, users enjoy extremely fast download speeds and therefore smoother streaming video, faster loading websites, and eventually potential better call quality. The existing mobile networks have until recently been relying purely on 3G or UMTS technology, which is now 10 years old and is struggling to cope up with the needs of today's data-hungry users. 4G LTE is the next stage in mobile network development. So the usability of this anytime, anywhere, and with any technology have made the user satisfied enough. That's all. Thank you very much. The rest of the part will be continued by Abdullah Mahfouz.
Thank you, Najmunahar Khanam. I am Abdullah Mahfouz, ID 2154991028. From previous presenter, we already know about what is 4G LTE. Now we see the basic architecture of LTE. The major component of LTE is UE, eNodeB, MME, HSS, PCRF, serving gateway, PDN gateway, etc. We will discuss all components respectively. Basic architecture of LTE can be divided into three sections. First one, the user equipment, it also called mobile stations. Second one, the evolved UMTS terrestrial radio access network. It is known by EUTRAN. It consists eNodeB. The third one, the evolved packet core EPC. It consists MME, HSS, PCRF, serving gateway, PDN gateway, etc. Let's see the UE. This is the very first requirement of any network architecture. The user equipment is any device used directly by an end user to communicate. It can be a handheld telephone, mobile, or any other device. Mainly the UE or mobile station is the combination of mobile equipment and subscriber identity module. Now the second major part of LTE, EUTRAN. This is the access part of the network, which is split by hexagonal cells. The hexagonal cell is wide geographical area. A hexagonal cell site gives radio coverage to a cell. The cell site is a location or a point. Every cell has a cell tower named E node B in Lte system. So let's see what is the function of E node B. The E node B establishes the logical connection with the core network for end user. It performs some major functions like cell control, mobility control. Even user security is maintained by E node B. More important thing is some essential function like shared channel handling, segmentation, and multiplexing also performed here. Thank you. Now I am requesting Saila Jahan to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Abdullah Mahfuz. Assalamu alaikum. I am Shaila Jahan. My ID is 215499114. My previous presenter already said that a 4G LTE architecture has three main components. They are UE, EPC, and EUTRAN. Now I am describing rest of the architecture part. EPC. The evolved packet core is responsible for the overall control of the UE and establishment. In 4G LTE, main function of EPC is to provide the user with IP connectivity to a PDN for accessing the internet as well as for running service such as voice over IP. EPC has some elements. They are packet data network gateway, serving gateway, mobility management entity, home subscriber server, policy and charging rule function. Packet data network gateway. Packet data network gateway provides the connection between EPC and a number of external data network. Packet data network gateway ensures the user equipment connectivity to an external packet data network, acting like a point of exit and entry of traffic for the UE. A UE can be connected to more than one packet data network gateway while accessing multiple PDN. Serving gateway. Serving gateway is the anchor point for the intra-LTE mobility in case of handover between E nodes B and between LTE and other 3GPP accesses. The serving gateway acts as a router and forward data between the base station and the PDN gateway. Mobility management entity. Mobility management entity deals with the control panel. It performs the signaling and control function to manage the user equipment, access to network connection, the assignment of network resources, and the management of the mobility estate to support tracking, phasing, roaming, and handover. MME control all control panel function related to subscriber and session management. MME control the high level of operation of the mobile by means of signaling messages and home subscriber server and provide authentication. Home subscriber server. Home subscriber server deals with a database that stores user-related and subscriber-related information. It also provides support function in mobility management, call and session setup, and authentication and authorization. Policy and charging rule function. Policy and charging rule function is responsible for the policy control session making as well as for controlling the flow-based charging functionalities in the policy control enforcement function, which resides in the packet data network gateway. It also provides a QoS policies on charging rule through the GS interface. Thank you. Now I am requesting our another group member, Hossein, to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Saila Jahan, for giving me the chance to continue the presentation. I'm Mohammad Imtiaz Hussain. My ID is 21549911046. Today I'm presenting technology and methodology part. LTE stands for long-term evaluation and sometimes is called 4G LTE. 4G is the short form of fourth generation. It is the fourth generation of mobile telecommunication technology succeeding 3G and presenting 5G. A 4G system, in addition to the usual voice and other services of 3G, provides mobile ultra broadband internet access. For example, to laptop with USB wireless modems, to smartphones and other mobile devices. Long-term evaluation is a radio platform technology that will allow operators to achieve even higher peak throughputs than HSPA plus in higher spectrum bandwidth. Orthogonal frequency division multiple access and multiple in multiple out replace Cdma spread radio spectrum technology. It's standard for wireless data transmission. With this service, you can download your favorite music, data, information easily with high-speed internet services. For getting 4G LTE, you need evolved hardware technology and improved network bandwidth. For LTE performance, there are some requirements. These are data rate. Instantaneous downlink peak data rate of 100 megabit per second in a 20 megahertz downlink spectrum. That means 5 bit per second per hertz. Instantaneous uplink peak data rate of 50 megabit per second in a 20 megahertz uplink spectrum. That means 2.5 bit per second per hertz. Then cell range 5 kilometer. It is optimal size. 30 kilometer sizes with reasonable performance. Up to 100 kilometer cell sizes supported with acceptable performance. Then cell capacity. Up to 200 active users per cell, 5 megahertz. That means 200 active data clients. Then mobility. Optimized for low mobility, 0 to 15 km per hour, but supports high speed. Then latency. It should be user plan is less than 5 milliseconds and control plan is less than 50 milliseconds. Then improved spectrum efficiency. Cost-effective migration from Release 6 Universal Terrestrial Radio Access, radio interface, and architecture. Then improved broadcasting. IP should be optimized. Scalable bandwidth, like 20 megahertz, 15 megahertz, 10 megahertz, like this. Then coexistence with legacy standards. Users can transparently start a call or transfer a data in an area using an LTE standard, and when there is no coverage, continue the operation without any action on their part using GSM, GPRS, or WCDMA based services. Thank you. The rest part will be discussed Maruf Hassan.
Thank you, Imtiaz Hussain, for your beautiful presentation. My name is Maruf Hassan and my ID is 215-499-1050. In this section, I am going to discuss about the application of the 4G network. Now this day, the video conferencing is the most common use of internet. 4G network makes it easier and more smooth for users. In online or virtual classroom, most of the time, students and teachers need to connect with each other in real-time communication. So a high-speed internet connection is highly required for this. In telemedicine, a medical representative provides advice to the patient with related guidelines and materials. 4G heterogeneous wireless access network can be used to provide e-health service in both indoor and outdoor environment. There was a time when we played offline video game by using computer or mobile devices alone. But now we can join with multiple players in virtual game room as well as talk with them, and this feel is such real. 4G technology has a unique application for accessing several wireless networks. It is capable of high level of customization at the user level. The 4G compatible device can easily access different mobile and wireless networks such as cellular network, wireless LAN, satellite network, and wireless networks simultaneously. This operation is actually done by using different kinds of software. Advantages and disadvantages. There are so many advantages of 4G LTE. The most obvious advantage of 4G network is its amazing speed with increased bandwidth, uninterrupted connection, wide coverage, and most secure network at an affordable price. There are also some disadvantages that we can count. Most of the old hardware can support this technology, so we have to change them. Because of the new technology, it may have some glitches or bugs at the first time. It consumes more power than old technology, and there also have some coverage issues. And now I'm requesting Sabbir Hussain to continue with the next slides. Thank you.
My name is Sabbir Ahmed and my roll number is 2154991045. Today, I'll compare about different generation of technology. As you know, there are 5 generations. The first generation started with the analog cellular type technology, and then the GSM and CDMA comes in the second generation, and third generation WCDMA and Edge are there. In 4th generation, we have LTE WiMAX in there. In 5th generation, we have MIMO and mmWave in there. If you see the frequency, it's started from 150 megahertz and up to 300 gigahertz in 5G. And data bandwidth is started from 2 kbps in 1G and more. Nowadays, it's 1 gigabyte per second in 5G and above. Yeah, there are different switching type in here, like circuit switching and packet switching. Circuit switching is used in the 1st generation, and 2nd generation. Packet switching is used from 2nd generation to 5th generation. Slide, we like to visualize the speed ratio and the frequency from different network. You can see from 1st generation to 5th generation, the speed is increased in a significant way. And in the right slide, we can see the 4G frequency and the 5G frequency. The 5G frequency is significantly high than 4G frequency. Now, let's visualize the circuit switching method. Here, the first person call is travel between the multiple station or switching center and reached the second person. And now, in the packet switching, data is travel in different paths, and at the end of the path, it reaches in the second host. This page, we can see the different applications of 1st generation and 5th generation. In the 4th generation, we have LTE-M, which is a low power wide area network radio technology developed by 3GPP, which gives us a much better internet experience. And in the 5G, we have greatly increased speed and sharp increase in the amount of data transmission with the help of enhanced mobile broadband, which is very useful nowadays. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Sabir Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shahina Nasrin Marjan. My ID is 2154991030. In the continuation of our presentation, I will tell about future of Lte and draw a conclusion of this presentation. As we know, Lte technology is used for increasing the speed and the capacity of the network. In the lifespan of chip from 3rd generation to 4th generation, we use Lte technology because no phone actually can reach the design standard for 4G. There are 3 versions of Lte. The first version of Lte is released 2008-9, exceeded the targets for 3G, but did not reach the 4G target. This version we see in many early of the first 4G smartphone. As we remember, user found Lte technology for the very first time in Samsung Galaxy phone. The next one is Lte Advanced, achieves the 4G targets with data rates 10 times faster than 3G. Newer 4G smartphones are already on LTE technology. The final version is Lte Advanced Pro, which sets the stage for 5G. Lte Pro is intended to be the LTE 4.5G technology transition to 5G. Here is the Lte release summary with their features. Actually, in the context of Bangladesh, we are still in 4G as well as preparing for 5G. The government of Bangladesh aims to launch 5G technology in 2023 and make the network available in every district headquarters by 2023. Whereas world already have introduced itself with 5G technology. Moreover, leading countries China, USA are already fighting for 6G dominance. Eventually, we have found 4G Lte as a flexible technology. 4G Lte has been proven in both consumer and commercial applications. Because of its widespread adoption, 4G Lte is very affordable, especially compared to the cost of the newest high-end 5G technology. Here is the references of our presentation. This is all about our presentation. Thank you. If you have any queries, then you can ask. We will try our best for answering.
The session is open. Any participant can ask question.
Sir, I have a question. I'm from group
Fine.
B.
Go ahead.
I am Nadim Chaudhary, role 2. So actually, I
Group
want to know
of
why
group. Nadim, তোমার কোন গ্রুপে?
Sir, group D, sir.
B
D,
or D? Delta.
G, sir.
What is the roll number?
Sir, role 2.
Roll 2. কই ওখানে roll 2 তো নাই। নাদিম চৌধুরী তোমার roll দেয়া আছে 3।
Sir, 3, sir.
তোমার roll কি 3?
G, sir, 3.
একটু আগে তো 2 বলতেছিল। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, ওকে go ahead.
Actually, I want to know why the cell shape is hexagonal.
Okay, thank you, Nadim Chaudhary, for the nice question. The geographical area of the cellular cells are divided into small hexagonal cells. Mainly, hexagonal shape is perfect over a square or triangular or triangle shape. And because it covered an entire area without overlapping. So a hexagonal cell can cover the entire geographical region without any gaps or overlapping. So that's why it chose hexagonal shape.
Thank you. Any more question?
স্যার আমার একটা কোশ্চেন আছে।
কত roll 22? Group?
জি স্যার।
Group?
স্যার গ্রুপ বি।
ঠিক আছে, go ahead.
আমরা 3G তে দেখি ডিফারেন্ট ইন্টারফেসের মাধ্যমে কানেক্ট থাকে, মানে 3G আর্কিটেকচার আমরা এটা দেখে আসছি। তো 4G তে আমরা একটা পার্ট দেখেছিলাম হচ্ছে গিয়ে প্যাকেট কোর। তো এই প্যাকেট কোরের একটা টার্ম ছিল এমএমই। এটা কিভাবে নোড বি এর সাথে কানেক্ট হচ্ছে?
এখানে এমএমই টা হচ্ছে S1 এমএমই ইন্টারফেসের সঙ্গে হচ্ছে নোড বি এর সঙ্গে কানেক্ট হচ্ছে।
জি শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
এটা হচ্ছে S1 এমএমই ইন্টারফেসের মাধ্যমে নোড বি আর
এমএমই ইন্টারফেস। আচ্ছা, এখানে এমএমই ইন্টারফেসটা কি?
এটা হচ্ছে আপনার একটা রেফারেন্স পয়েন্ট যেটা ইউটি রান এবং এমএমই কে কন্ট্রোল করবে বা এদের মধ্যে হচ্ছে সম্পর্ক স্থাপন করবে।
Thank you very much.
আর কোশ্চেন করা যাবে? একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল।
আচ্ছা করো কি নাম?
What is the স্যার শ্রাবণীতে প্রাপ্তি গ্রুপ বি।
গ্রুপ
মানে গ্রুপ বি শ্রাবণীতে প্রাপ্তি।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ go ahead.
Can I ask her?
Yeah, go ahead.
First slide
তোমার ইন্টারনেটের প্রবলেম।
একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল।
হ্যাঁ শ্রাবণী কুইকলি করো।
What is the difference between LTE and LTEA?
Sir, I want to answer this question.
Sir, আমি আবার বলবো। Sir, LTEA. আমার কোশ্চেনটা কি শোনা গেছে?
জি শোনা যাচ্ছে। So the difference between LTE and LTEA is that from reaching 3G to 4G, so for this journey we use LTE as we can switch to 4G bandwidth. So LTE is considered like 3.5G and LTE is advanced and it is considered like 4G. So LTE is 10 times faster than LTE because it delivers more speed, higher speed than LTE and delivers more reliability. And it also receives more data at once. That is the basic difference between both of these. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you, sir.
whole group, for a nice presentation because we are running shortage of time. So next group, group D.
Yes, sir.
Okay, start.
Sure, sir.
Group D.
Yes, sir.
Sound নাই তো?
Sound শোনা যাচ্ছে না স্যার?
কি না?
শোনা যাচ্ছে?
সাউন্ড শোনা যাচ্ছে না ভাইয়া।
সাউন্ড শোনা যাচ্ছে না?
আচ্ছা, আমার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ, কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে।
সাউন্ড শোনা যাবে না কেন?
ভাইয়া সাউন্ডটা শেয়ার করবেন তাহলেই হবে।
সাউন্ড শেয়ার, আচ্ছা এখানে স্ক্রিন শেয়ারের সাথে সাউন্ড শেয়ার হয় না?
শেয়ারের ওখানে একটা অপশন আছে, কিছু কিছু ক্ষেত্রে এরকম হয়। শেয়ার স্ক্রিনের নিচে দেখবেন সাউন্ড শেয়ার একটা অপশন আছে।
নিচে শেয়ার সাউন্ড একটা ইয়ে আছে, চেক বক্স আছে, ওটা অন করে দেন তাহলেই হবে। স্ক্রিনটা শেয়ার অফ করে আবার শেয়ার করে নতুন করে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
আচ্ছা
সাউন্ড শেয়ার একটা চেক বক্স আছে দেখেন বাম পাশে কর্নারে।
বাম পাশের কর্নারে
পাইছেন?
আচ্ছা, স্পিকার দেওয়া সাউন্ড শেয়ার তো অপশন পাচ্ছি না।
আপনি শেয়ার বাটনটাতে চাপ দিলে যে উইন্ডোটা আসতেছে, হ্যাঁ এখানে আপনি বেসিকে স্ক্রিন
হ্যাঁ পাইছি হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
টিক চিহ্ন দিয়ে দাও। হ্যাঁ,
ওটা চেক বক্সটা অন করে দিলে।
করে দাও।
History. The International Telegraph Union was founded in 1865 by 20 states: Austria, the Netherlands, Baden, Portugal, Bavaria, Prussia, Belgium, Russia, Denmark, Saxony, France, Spain, Greece, Sweden, Norway, Hamburg, Switzerland, Hanover, Turkey, Italy, Luxembourg. In 1924, in Paris, the CCIF, International Telephone Consultative Committee, was created, followed in 1925 by the CCIT. At ITU's Plenipotentiary Conference held in Madrid in 1932, the International Telegraph Union changed its name to the International Telecommunication Union, and in 1947, after World War II, the ITU became the United Nations Specialized Agency for Telecommunication. In 1956, the two separate ITU committees, the CCIF and the CCIT, were joined to create the CCITT to more effectively manage telephone and telegraph communication. In 1993, the ITU underwent a reorganization and the CCITT was replaced by the new structure as ITUT. The ITU is really communication standardization sector. The global strategy consultancy firm Booz Allen Hamilton awarded ITU with the accolade of being one of the world's top 10 most enduring institutions in December 2004. At present, more than 3,000 ITUT recommendations are in force with a speed of an average time to approve its technical recommendation as quick as in less than 2 months.
ITUT in brief. The study groups of ITUS Telecommunication Standardization Sector ITUT assemble experts from around the world to develop international standards known as ITUT recommendations, which act as defining elements in the global infrastructure of information and communication technologies (ICTs). Standards are critical to interoperability of ICTs, and whether we exchange voice, video, or data messages, standards enable global communications by ensuring that countries' ICT networks and devices are speaking the same language.
Hello?
ITUT is committed to
জি স্যার,
fighting the standardization gap, disparities in the ability of developing countries relative to developed ones to access, implement, contribute to, and influence international ICT standards. The ITUT mission is to ensure the efficient and timely production of standards covering all fields of telecommunications and information communication technology (ICTs) on a worldwide basis, as well as defining tariff and accounting principles for international telecommunication services. The international standards that are produced by the ITUT are referred to as recommendations, with the word capitalized to distinguish its meaning from the common parlance sense of the word recommendation. as they become mandatory only when adopted as part of national law. International ICT standards avoid costly market battles over preferred technologies and for companies from emerging markets. They create a level playing field which provides access to new markets. They are an essential aid to developing countries in building their infrastructure and encouraging economic development. And though economies of scale, they can reduce costs for all manufacturers, operators, and consumers. From its beginning as a body standardizing international telegraph exchange, though its formative role in telecommunications and in today's converged ICT ecosystem, ITUT has provided the world's best facilities to the global standardization community and remains the world's only truly global ICT standards body. ITUT is required to allocate spectrum and register frequency allocation, orbital positions and other parameters of satellites in order to avoid harmful interference between radio stations of different countries. ITUT is one of the three sectors, divisions or units of the International Telecommunication Union (ITU). Based at the ITU's headquarters in Geneva, the Telecommunication Standardization Bureau (Tsb) provides secretariat support to I2t Study Groups through sophisticated electronic working methods and state-of-the-art facilities in Geneva, accommodating the six official languages of the Union: Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish.
Assalamu alaikum. I am MD Fukulam Siddiq Antur and my ID is 215 499 1023. I will talk about ITUT frameworks. In the course of time, ITUT frameworks consist of World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly, Telecommunication Standardization, Advisory Groups, Study Groups, Workshops and Seminars, Technology Watch. Let's talk about World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly. What is this? World Telecommunication Standardization is a sets of over-directional structures for ITUT. It meets every 4 years and defines the general policy for the sectors, establishes the study groups, approves their expected work programming for the next 4 years period, appoints their chairman and vice chairmen. Now I will talk about another ITUT framework, Telecommunication Standardization Advisory Group. What is this? Provides ITUT with flexible between WTSS by reviewing priorities, programmers, operations, financial matters, and strategies for the sector. It also follows up the accomplishments of the work programming, restructures, and establishes ITUT group study groups. Provides guidelines to the study groups, advises the director of the Telecommunication Standardization Bureau (TSB), produces organization and working procedures in the shapes of a series recommendation. Now we'll talk about workshops and seminars of ITUT framework. ITUT organizes a number of workshops and seminars to progress in existing work areas and explore the new ones. The events covers a wide array of topics in the ICT field, and speakers and attendees include engineering, strategy, and policy experts from a range of industry sectors. Organized events are free of charge and open to the public so that they can join the ITUT workshops and seminars and gain the knowledge about them. Now, another teammate will talk about another ITUT framework, study groups, and so on.
I am Rubai Sunna and I will present ITUT study groups. Basically, ITU study groups are venues for ITU members to work collaboratively in responding to the priorities of the ITU membership. These groups are renewed every 4 years. It is organized into 3 sectors, so here I will talk about only ITUT study groups. I2t study groups develop international technical standards that is known as ITU recommendation. It is currently operating 11 study groups and I will brief it very shortly. So the first group is study group 2, that is operational aspects. It provides the structure and functionality of telephone numbers, and without it we would not be able to communicate internationally. Then there is study group 3, that is economic and policy issues. It works to the improve financial and economic aspects in ICT, particularly with the use in mobile wireless communication. More specifically, it is responsible for studying international telecommunication policy and economic uses. I am Rubai. So the next group is study group 5, that is environment and circular economy. It works on the ICT effects on the climate change for using ICTs in an eco-friendly way. Like every mobile phone user will be benefited from the new universal charging solution. That means like the same charger will be used for all future handsets. Then study group 9, broadband cable and TV. It has developed ITUR recommendation on next generation cable modems like links that links all types of in-premises electronic devices. After that, study group 11, that is protocols and test specification. It is responsible for signaling that defines how telephone calls and other calls are handled in the network. Next, there is study group 12, that is performance, QoS and QoE. That is, it works on the performance, quality of services and quality of experience. It also works on the services based on speech technology, voice aspects on car communication, hand-free communication, etc. Then the next group is study group 13, that is future networks and cloud. It works on the future network and the evolution of NGNs. That means the worldwide move from circuit switch to packet-based network on future network and also mobile telecommunication. Then there is study group 15 that works for transport, access and home. It basically handles the entire range of fiber and cable performance by new optical fiber technologies and new applications. So the next group is study group 16, that is multimedia. It is responsible for studies relating to the ubiquitous multimedia applications, multimedia capabilities for services and so on. Other work includes the V-series modem recommendation like anyone access the internet and then the broadband technologies. Then the group is study group 17, that is security. It works with the security related work across all I2t study groups. To give an example, it is currently working on server security, security management, etc. And the last group is security group 20 that works in IoT, smart cities and communities. It works on the development of standards with IoT technologies in urban development area.
Standards development. ITUT offers a unique contribution-driven and consequence-based environment, using the latest collaboration tools and facilities. Contribution is the term used to describe membership input into a study group. This input can be on any relevant topic, but is typically limited to suggesting new work areas, draft recommendation, change to existing recommendation. Study group drive their work primarily in the form of study questions. Each of these address technical studies in the particular area of telecommunication standardization. Each study group has a chairman and a number of vice chairmen appointed by the World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly (WTSA). To assist in the organization of work, the study group may be organized into a number of working parties. The working party is the next organizational unit down within the study group. The team of experts working on a specific questions is known as the reporter group. Their meetings are moderated by the relevant reporters. The study group considers the text and the direction of the questions. Participants determine what is the needed for recommendation, considers all the relevant inputs, and develops the text for the consultation with other relevant parts of the ITUT. Specialists usually meet during a meeting of the furtherless study group to progress the work, but when needed they can see the parent study group individually in a more informal setting. A question is the basic project unit within ITUT. The field of study, the project is defined by the text of the question and it is usually approved by the study group. In order to establish a new question, it needs to be committed to supporting the work of the majority of the members. The question is usually when the defined work is completed or the work is modified in the light of development which can be technical, market-oriented, network or service-driven. Here is the development workflow. First step, organization X becomes a member of ITUT and identifies an ICT issues in need of standardization. Second step, X submits the suggested research item to the relevant ITUT study group. Third step, the study group approves the idea as a study question and allocates the work to the working party. Fourth step, the working party assigned to the work X questions starts work on the development of a new ITUT record. Fifth step, the draft record is submitted to an study group meeting, and if considered mature, it is given permission moved forward into the alternative approval procedure.
There are two types of recommendation of approval. One is AAP and another is TAP. Alternative approval process or AAP is the first track approval procedure that was developed to allow standards to be brought to market in the time frame that industry now demands. Those recommendations considered as having policy or regulatory implications are approved by TAP or traditional approval process, which allows a longer period for reflection and commenting by member states. On this approval workflow will be acknowledged with different steps of standard approval. Once the text of a draft recommendation prepared by study group experts is considered mature, it is submitted for review to a SG or working party meeting. If it is agreed by the meeting, it is given consent. That means that the SG or WP has given its consent that the text is sufficiently mature to initiate a final review process leading to approval of the draft recommendation. After this consent has been achieved, the Director of ITUT's Secretariat, the Telecommunication Standardization Bureau or TSB, announces the start of the AAP procedure by posting the draft text to the ITU website and calling for comments. If no comments other than editorial corrections are received, the recommendation is considered approved since no issues were identified that might need any further work. If there are any comments, the study group chairman, in consultation with TSB, sets up a comments resolution process by the concerned experts. The revised text is then posted on the web for an additional review period of 3 weeks. Similar to the last call phase, in additional review, the recommendation is considered as approved if no comments are received. Comments are received, it is apparent that there are some issues that still need more work, and the draft text and all comments are sent to the next study group meeting for further discussion and possible approval. After a last call in which comments were received, if the study group chairman sees that there is insufficient time for comment resolution and an additional review period, the draft recommendation and unresolved comments can be sent directly to the next meeting of the study group for resolution and agreement.
ITUT and Telecommunication Standardization Bureau (TSB) documentation. These documents are not to be confused with ITUT publications, which are made available to the general public for purchase through the ITU Cells service. TSB circulars. These letters are addressed to all the participants in the work of the sector and contain information of general interest such as the meeting schedule, work procedure, the list of the hotels, etc. Study groups diffuse circulars in order to implement the provisions of WTSA regarding the approval and deletion of recommendations or distribute questionnaires. TSB circulars are posted on the ITUT website and do not have restricted access. TSB Collective Letters. These letters used from study groups and are addressed to the participants which have registered to receive the documents of the study group concerned. Collective letters are used to convey meetings or collect information of interest to the study group. Collective letters are posted on the relevant study group page on the ITUT website and do not have restricted access. Meeting documents, contributions. The participants of the sector submit their input to meeting by means of a contribution. Contributions submitted to the TSB at least 2 months before a meeting are published and dispatched to the participants of the sector registered in the relevant study group. A TIS account are required to access this document. Reports. Meeting reports are published after a meeting, dispatched to the participants of the sector registered in the relevant study group. A TIS Telecommunication Information Exchange System account is required to access these documents. Temporary documents. Temporary documents contains reports from chairman, reporters, drafting groups and other groups or other relevant information to be submitted to the meeting. These are distributed only to the participants present. A TIS Telecommunication Information Exchange Service account is required to access this document. Liaison statements. Liaison statements are used to transmit information from one group to another. These are distributed only to the participants present and are posted in the informal FTP area of the relevant study groups as incoming and outgoing liaison statements. A Telecommunication Information Exchange System TIS account and registration to be the relevant study group informal FTP area are required to access these documents.
It's the presentation. If you guys have any question, anyone, please ask.
Sorry, I want to ask a question, sir.
Sure.
Sir, I'm
hold on.
Yes, sir.
And first, তুমি টিচারকে সময় দিবা তো হঠাৎ করে ঢুকলা যে you seek permission to your teacher and only then if he permits you can ask the question. This is the normal norms. আচ্ছা এই গ্রুপের তোমাদের প্রেজেন্টেশনের লিডার কে ছিল? Who is the leader?
আমি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ?
জি স্যার আমি স্যার।
তুমি তোমার দেখছো এটার ভিতরে তোমার তিনজন প্রেজেন্টারই খুব নয়েজি ছিল, especially role 25, role 48 and to some extent role 21 as well. তুমি এগুলো দেখো নাই কেন?
জি স্যার আমি আসলে ওদের ইনফর্ম করেছিলাম কিন্তু
ওদের ইনফর্ম না তুমি অ্যাকসেপ্ট না করতে কিন্তু বাট ওটার জন্য তো সবার ওভারঅল গ্রেড উইল বি ডিগ্রেডেড।
এখন স্যার ওনাদের পিসি তে আর কি প্রবলেম, তো স্যার ল্যাপটপে প্রবলেম, তো
প্রবলেম হলে ওরা সলভ করবে, তুমি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করতে না, তাই না? ঠিক আছে, দেন দা কি জানি শাহ গো ফর কোশ্চেন।
Sir, I'm from Group C, sir. My role is 50. And
কে কোশ্চেন করতে চাইছিল?
জি স্যার, আমি স্যার।
ফারুক?
জি স্যার।
তোমার রোল কত?
স্যার 50 স্যার।
গ্রুপ?
স্যার সি, গ্রুপ সি।
ঠিক আছে, কোশ্চেন করো।
Actually, it's a very basic question. What is the main difference between the ITUT and Telecommunication Standardization Bureau?
Actually, it's two are both similar, but there are some difference. The Telecommunication Standardization Bureau (TSB) provides the secretarial support for the work of the ITUT sector and services for the participants in ITUT work. They are the support part in the ITUT sector.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay. The first thing is that I would like to tell the group that most of the members have just read from the slides.
Yeah, this is my point as well.
Right. Okay, sir. So this is very inappropriate. So we are actually seeing your slides, so you don't need to narrate. You need to just give new information or just summarize. So from today, you need to memorize it. So I have one question to all of you, that can you name some standards of ITUT? If you have been attentive in your class lectures, you should answer it. Anyone from the group? No one?
Group leader.
No, actually, sir, I
Just
can.
you cut and paste some information from the net and then make the slides. Just read out it.
Actually,
Okay, then I have another question. So it's a trick question. Please hear it. So you have mentioned two standards, AAP and TAP, right? Standards approval. So if I am going to build a satellite communication system, to which standard I will go to for approvals? It's a trick question, just
very good
from
question.
the very basic.
Actually, it will satellite. I will go for the AAP because it's a fast track approval procedure. If you want to launch a rocket, it should be fast track because TAP is mainly used for the slow pace or the implication matters. So I think I would go for AAP.
So this is the answer for everyone, right? So everyone agrees with it. Okay, the answer is no. Satellite communication is a radio communication, right? It's a microwave communication. So the approval will come from ITUR, not ITUT. Okay, so that was a trick question.
That is belongs to radio communication.
Radio communication, right?
R stands for radio.
So that's it.
Okay, go ahead. Afreen.
Sir, I have a basic question. How
What
many
is your roll
sectors
number?
Sir, 27, Group B.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
How many sectors of ITU and what are they?
I want to answer this question. It's from my slide. Basically, ITU has 3 sectors. 3 of them, one is working for radio communication. Then it works for standardization that I have discussed from the slide. And another one works for development, that is ITU-D.
Okay, thank you very much. We can
you.
conclude here. We will not take any more questions. It is more than 11. And what is my instruction was the total time is allocated for 15 minutes. I allowed for 20 minutes. Whatever we found, the 4 presentation, mostly the presentation is duration of presentation more than 25 minutes or so, if I am not wrong. Aina Sadman?
Yes, sir. It's above 20.
No, 20, 25. I have checked.
Sir, someone has 19, someone has 20, someone has 24. It's above 20.
So remember the rest of the group, remember these things. Take us. So thank you very much. I have to conclude right now. Next class, maybe
Thank
next
you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Saturday, I will we will take another 4 group presentation. Take us. So thank you very much. Now we will go for the attendance. Sadman can কি বলো যে তুমি বেরিয়ে যাইতে পারো, তুমি ফোনে একটু পরে কথা বলবো, আধা 1 ঘন্টা পরে। হ্যাঁ,
ওকে স্যার, হ্যাঁ আমি
ওকে, ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। এই স্ক্রিন কি দেখা যাচ্ছে?
জি না স্যার।
জি না স্যার। স্যার আমি একটু একটা কথা বলতাম স্যার, এইজ গ্রুপের।
কোন গ্রুপে?
এইজ গ্রুপ স্যার।
কি সমস্যা?
স্যার আমাদের একজন হচ্ছে আমাদের রেকর্ডেড স্লাইড গুলো দিয়েছিল না, পরে হচ্ছে আমরা অনেকক্ষণ মানে সাদিয়া আপু যে টাইমটা দিয়েছিল ওই টাইম পর্যন্ত ওয়েট করেছিলাম, বাট না দেওয়ার কারণে স্যার ওইটা বাদ দিয়ে আমরা হচ্ছে আপুকে আর কি ফাইলটা সেন্ড করেছিলাম, কারণ আপু বলছিল এই টাইমের পরে আমাদের আর নিবে না, এই জন্য আমরা ওয়েট করার পর যখন আর দেয় নাই তখন
ওই ভদ্রলোক না দিলে তো কিছু করার নাই, অসুবিধা নাই তো। অসুবিধা কি আর?
স্যার মানে স্যার আপনাকে জানাই না, কারণ ওই পোরশনটাতে স্যার কোনো সাউন্ড সিস্টেম নাই, এজন্য স্যার মানে আমাদের যে ভিডিও ফাইলটা আছে আর স্যার।
স্যার আমার একটা কথা ছিল।
কি সমস্যা?
স্যার আমার সাথে আমি যে টাইমটা যখন আমি বারবার মেসেজে পাঠাছিলাম যে ইয়েটার ব্যাপারে, ভয়েসটার ব্যাপারে আমারটা ইয়ে হচ্ছে কিনা, তো যে আমার গ্রুপে মেম্বার যারা ছিল তারা আমার সাথে আসলে যথেষ্ট কমিউনিকেট করেনি।
তুমি মেসেজ পাঠাইছো কেন? তুমি ফোনে কথা বলো নি কেন?
আমার ফোন মিসিং হয়েছিল, ফোনটা মিসিং হয়েছিল, ওই জন্য
স্যার আমরা অনেকক্ষণ ওয়েট করছি স্যার, গ্রুপে সবাই সবার ফাইলটা দিয়ে দিয়েছিল, এখানে তো স্যার সবাই সবার কাজ নিয়ে ব্যস্ত ছিল, পরে এটাকে
তোমাকে
স্যার আমরা অ্যাড
কে
করছি।
এতবার নক করবে? হ্যাঁ, হি ইজ দ্য রিলাক্টেন্ট ওয়ান।
জি স্যার, আমরা তো এটা কাউকে স্যার বলে বলে মানে সবাই সবার কাজ নিয়ে ব্যস্ত, আর সবাই স্যার সবার ফাইলটা গ্রুপে দিয়ে দেন ওইটা আমরা মার্চ করছি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ,
তো
বুঝছি
এখানে
আমি। তুমি দাও নাই কেন?
স্যার আমি করছিলাম, কিন্তু আমার যে মিসিং হয়েছে এটা আমি বুঝতে পারিনি পরে।
তুমি এখন বুঝো, এখন তো বুঝতে পারছো।
জি
You
স্যার।
will realize throughout your life. ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ। আচ্ছা, এখন আমরা অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সে যাই। I am having another meeting. Already running shortage of time. ওইটা কে? রোল কত?
স্যার 1 স্যার আজমি, আমি হোসেন আর আজমি স্যার।
ঠিক আছে।
আপনার রোল কি 1 নাকি? আপনি 36 রোল নাম্বার বলেন।
17022036।
হ্যাঁ, ঠিকই আছে তো। তুমি তো সব সময় একটা প্রবলেম ক্রিয়েটার। 36, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে তো। তোমার মানে ক্যারেক্টারের সাথে যায় তো তোমার কার্যকলাপ। রোল 1।
স্যার প্রেজেন্ট।
প্রেজেন্ট তো স্যার।
ইয়েস।
ও ঠিক আছে, হ্যাঁ তুমি প্রেজেন্ট। হ্যাঁ, রোল 2।
ইয়েস স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, রোল 3।
Yes, sir.
4। রোল 4 and roll 5.
Present, sir.
Roll 6.
Present, sir.
স্যার আমি প্রেজেন্ট স্যার, রোল 4 প্রেজেন্ট।
Roll
ঠিক আছে, roll 7.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার। হ্যালো।
Roll 8.
ইয়েস স্যার।
কে কথা বলতেছে বলো?
স্যার রোল 2 প্রেজেন্ট আছে, বাট আপনি তার কিছু দেন নাই কারণ কি।
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, roll 8.
ইয়েস স্যার।
Then roll 9.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Roll 10.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Roll 11.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Roll 12.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Roll 13.
Present, sir.
Roll 14.
Yes, sir.
Roll 15.
Yes, sir.
Roll 16.
Yes, sir.
Then roll 17.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Roll 18.
Present, sir.
Roll 19.
Yes, sir.
Then roll 20. Roll 20.
Yes, sir.
Roll 21.
Yes, sir.
Roll 22. Roll 23.
Roll 22, sir.
Roll 23.
Yes, sir.
Roll 24. আমরা
Yes, sir.
যাই।
Yes, sir.
Roll 26.
স্যার 25।
25. ঠিক আছে, 26.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
27.
Yes, sir.
28. Roll 28.
28 present, sir.
29.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
31.
প্রেজেন্ট
30.
29।
Present, sir. 30, sir.
31. 31. Roll 31. 32.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Roll 33.
স্যার।
Roll 34.
Yes, sir.
Roll 35.
Yes, sir.
Then roll 36.
Present, sir.
37.
Yes, sir.
38.
Present, sir.
39.
Present, sir.
Then 40.
Yes, sir.
41. Roll 41. Then 42.
Present, sir. 41.
42.
Yes, sir.
Then 43. 43.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
40,
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
40, 44.
ইয়েস স্যার। 43।
কত?
43।
Then 45.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, 45.
46.
Sir, 46, sir. Yes, sir.
45.
Yes,
Roll
sir.
then 47.
Yes, sir.
Then 48.
Yes, sir.
Then 49.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
then 50,
Yes, sir.
and 51,
Yes, sir.
52,
Present, sir.
53,
Yes, sir.
54,
Yes, sir.
and 56.
Yes, sir.
Or
55, sir. 55,
55, अच्छा, 56, 56, 57. Anyone left? 31, 31, 31 কোন গ্রুপে?
স্যার গ্রুপ বি, ভাইয়া ডিসকানেক্টেড হয়ে গেছে, মাত্র ফোন দিয়েছিল। আমার নেটটা নাই হয়ে গেছে স্যার, উনি প্রেজেন্ট ছিল।
ঠিক আছে, দিয়ে দিছি।
স্যার আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার, আমি 31 স্যার।
31 দিলাম না একটু আগে?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, উনি ডিসকানেক্ট হয়ে গেছিল, ওই জন্য উনি আবার আসছে স্যার।
আচ্ছা, এই যে 31 প্রেজেন্ট দিছি তো।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ।
ঠিক আছে, তো থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। আচ্ছা, আরেকটা জিনিস আমি বলবো, ওই যে যারা প্রেজেন্টেশন দিয়েছো এরা সবাই প্রেজেন্টেশন গুলা সবার সাথে শেয়ার করবা। মেবি ওই যে কি বলে যে সাদিয়া, তুমি সব গ্রুপ সবার কাছে এগুলা সেন্ড করে দাও গ্রুপে, তাহলে সবাই এগুলা দেখবা, তাহলে সবার কাছে এই যে ম্যাটেরিয়াল গুলা আবার রিড করলে একটা নলেজ হবে। ঠিক আছে, আমি কি বুঝাইতে পারছি?
জি স্যার।
সাইদ, সিআর সাইদ।
জি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, যেগুলা প্রেজেন্টেশন হয়েছে, বিশেষ করে তোমাদের গ্রুপের প্রেজেন্টেশন তো শুধু রিডিং করছো, ঠিক আছে, তুমি ইউ লুক ইনটু দ্য আদার্স প্রেজেন্টেশন, দেন ইউ উইল গেট দ্য ডিফারেন্স। ঠিক আছে,
জি স্যার,
সবাই
সাদিয়ার কাছ থেকে কালেক্ট করে নিচ্ছি।
হ্যাঁ, শুধু তুমি না, সবার কাছে দিবা।
জি স্যার।
সাদিয়া সবার কাছে মেইল করে দাও, সব গ্রুপ ওয়াইজ। ঠিক আছে, তোমাদের কাছে তো গ্রুপ অ্যাড্রেস আছে। ঠিক আছে, তো থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। নেক্সট স্যাটারডে আবার দেখা হবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার।
ওয়ালাইকুম
স্যার
আসসালাম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।